This is Sharon Hughes, Director of Marketing for Renaissance Team, LLC, and I'm very happy to bring to you an interview with Scott McKnight, co-founder of the International Aloe Science Council, to talk about this amazing, what has been coined pharmacy in a plant, and why we at Renaissance Team have not only used it in our revolutionary products, but why so many around the globe have found the benefits of the aloe vera plant to be an important part of enjoying good health. So now here's that interview with Scott McKnight, co-founder of the International Aloe Science Council. Well, welcome, Scott. I wanted to have our clients and our distributors hear from you on why our products, Alive Again and O-Factor, are not only great products, but to also give them an idea of the research behind the development of these products and why they're so effective in supporting better health. I mean, I know that there is over 25 years in the aloe industry collectively with the Renaissance Team. I mean, literally harvesting, processing, manufacturing, and marketing. So let's start with your part in founding the International Aloe Science Council and what that has brought to the table as it relates to Renaissance Team's products.
A great question, Sharon. 29 years ago, two gentlemen and myself were serving on the board of directors of the Direct Selling Association, and we saw how people with a common cause, united, had been able to impact an industry in such a positive way. And at that point in time, I'd just been introduced to the aloe industry, and I found an industry that was fragmented. There were a lot of people taking a little bit of aloe and a lot of water and making a lot of money, but it was not representing to the consumer exactly what that miraculous plant could do. So in 1981, we started the International Aloe Science Council, commonly referred to as IASC. We started it with four distinct objectives. The first one was that we would establish standards, that people couldn't call things aloe unless it had a significant amount of aloe in there, enough to really make a difference to the people. We also wanted to do research because we had doctors from all over the world that were beginning to look at this plant in a serious nature as one of the more beneficial plants that there is that Mother Nature has to offer. But they were looking at it from different viewpoints, and we thought, wow, if we could get these people together and pull this information, we would gain a phenomenal amount of information. So we did that. We also wanted to establish a platform where we could begin to tell the world what this plant could really do. And by fostering this research, which in the past 29 years has exceeded $84 million, Sharon, worth of research on this product. So the things we talk about today, some are new and exciting pieces of information for people to hear, and some of them maybe for the first time, but the fact is this plant has been used by mankind since biblical times. There's references to this plant in the Bible several times, and for 2,000 years, people have seen the beneficial effects of this product, but only in the last 30 years have we begun to document and do the double-blind comparative studies that have really proved the significance of what this plant could do. And we decided that if we could form a council with these objectives in mind to set standards so you'd really have quality products so the consumer would know that what they're getting was a real quality product, that we would foster the research necessary to really know the benefits of this product, and then we would establish an organization and a vehicle to be able to tell the world what this would do. And never have I been as excited in the past 30 years as I have been right now, because the evidence continues to accumulate. And what we bring to the marketplace with Alive Again and the O-Factor are probably the epitome of that 30 years of research with those doctors from all over the world.
Well, we know that Dr. Wendell Winters of the University of Texas Health Science Center at San Antonio refers to aloe vera as a pharmacy in a plant. So what is the result of some of the research of these doctors that you worked with that show the benefits of aloe vera that would be of interest to our listeners?
We had the idea that if we could invite the various doctors around the world to come together and share their research. I invited a doctor from Japan that has been one of the foremost researchers on the continent over there. Invited doctors from Scotland. From North America, we had doctors from the MD Anderson Cancer Institute. From England, Dr. Lawrence Plaskett, who's one of the foremost researchers, written one of the better books that there is about aloe and its history and its research that's gone on. He's chronicled many of the investigations in the aloe industry. He actually has has a school for doctors in Great Britain, and he asked me if he could do a clinical study on patients using the aloe. Being a fan of aloe, why, he had written a research book, and it is one of the more comprehensive ones, and his study was really significant. He took 31 patients, Sharon, that were all diagnosed as terminally ill with cancer. None of them had more than 6 months to live, and most of them were actually diagnosed with less than 3 months to live. Now, we have a patented blend of aloe in our Alive Again formula, and we shipped that over to him. We agreed to fund the product itself, and he agreed to do the research and get the government's permission. Well, he started these people on Alive Again, and it was really interesting because the very same month that he started his test with 31 people, my own brother developed lung cancer. And I shipped 55-gallon drums of the product over to England for Dr. Plaskett, and I gave my brother a case of the product himself. My brother called me back, and he said, Scott, the doctor's got me on chemotherapy, and so thanks anyway, but I'm just going to do the chemotherapy. And he did, and I spoke at my brother's funeral 6 months later. He, in fact, was diagnosed properly, and he died within 6 months. Dr. Plaskett came back from England 44 months later and gave a report to the Aloe Science Council on what his study had concluded. Of the 31 patients, Sharon, that were as terminally ill as my brother was, not a single person had died. 2 had total remission of their cancer, 7 had reduced remission on their cancer, and 22 were stabilized and still alive. Now, to be fair to Dr. Plaskett, he does give credit to the fact that he, in addition to the aloe, he had them on a strict diet, and he gave them coffee enemas, which he feels is a detoxifier. But that study was phenomenal. The government was so pleased. They allowed him to put 19 more people on it. It's now been 8 years, and of the 50 people that are on the program, not one of them has died yet.
That is certainly wonderful. Can you give us another example of some of the research that showcases the benefits of this amazing plant, aloe vera?
Let me tell you this next one. Dr. Byung Pal Yu at the University of Texas Health Science Center, he had taken 240 lab animals. Same diet, same genetic background, same environment. Everything was exactly the same, but 120 of them had this blended aloe to drink, and 120 just had water in the diet. 3 things came out of that study. The group that had the aloe lived 10% longer than the group who didn't. Remember, same genetic background, same environment, same everything, the only difference being drinking the aloe with their regular diet. They lived 10% longer. They had 39% less cancer, and this is maybe the most important. They had 56% less heart attack and strokes.
Well, some might think 10% doesn't seem very much, but for the average person living today to be 70 years old or more, adding 7 or 8 years more to your life is pretty significant.
We have this saying that an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And these studies, along with the 800 other studies that have been completed by this Science Council, have pointed to the fact that there's 2 or 3 really unique things about this product that are incredible. There are over 205 active ingredients in this plant. Our patented process is that we bring the gel, which is unfiltered, from the plant. We then take the whole leaf, we filter out the aloe, and we blend the 2 together. And this is a patented process that gives you 100%. So everything good that you can read in those 800 studies that are documented and published referring to this product's ability to help the body function on its own as it should naturally. Every one of those can be said because of this patented blend where we've taken the best that the plant has to offer and put it together. One of the studies was a doctor in Korea who actually injected cancer cells into lab animals and then gave them this blended aloe, and the cancer cells were contained. They could not spread. Dr. Danhoff, who's an enterologist here in Dallas, Texas, his own grandson had developed cancer. He took chemotherapy like the other kids did, it was leukemia, but he gave him this quality aloe every day. And he said his grandson had normal growth, did not lose his hair like most people do when they have the chemotherapy. But most of all, it's now been nearly 12 years, and his grandson is 100% free of cancer.
Fantastic. What another great story.
Those studies are just one of those 800 studies that leads us to this Alive Again product. People who take this product can for sure count on these following things. The first is it will soothe their digestive tract. We had a study done in Missouri where we took 23 patients that were on prescription drugs for acid reflux. They started taking the O-Factor and the Alive Again. And in 30 days, every single one of the 23 patients discontinued their prescription drug and were just taking this natural product and were no longer having the acid reflux. We started that study because a very close friend of mine in Los Angeles, he was scheduled to have an esophageal wrap. His esophagus had been so eaten up with this acid reflux, and people who know anything about esophageal wraps know that that's one of the most painful operations you can possibly have, where they truly have to remake the esophagus. Well, he was scheduled to have that operation within just a matter of 6 or 8 weeks, started taking the products, and went back for his pre-operation last test, and the doctor said, we do not have to operate. Your esophagus is healed to the point that we're not going to have to do an esophageal wrap. It just works.
Well, certainly his life was dramatically affected by this. What great news for the hundreds of thousands of people that suffer from acid reflux alone, not to mention the other benefits from this amazing plant.
Robert Davis came from University of Pennsylvania and presented a study to our group, and 2 things happened. He said, first off, he proved that aloe has the ability to stimulate the fibroblast and cause a wound to heal 121% faster, whether it's in the body or on the outside. It's definitely known by everybody that aloe heals. But then he said this, and this is an important statement, Sharon. He said that aloe is a carrier. Aloe seems to know the zip code where in the body to deliver the nutrients. That astounded us. So we decided to do another study that was funded by the council. We went to Dr. Joe Vincent at the University of Scranton, and he took a group of people and he had them take vitamin C with water. And this is so important. This part is one of the great reasons why Alive Again is so incredibly effective, particularly when it's used in conjunction with the O-Factor, the capsules, because they took vitamin C and measured the ability of the body to absorb that when taken with water. Then they let a period of time go by, and they gave the same patients vitamin C when taken with this blended aloe. They received 304%, 3 times as much vitamin C was available to their body, bioavailability, when taken with the aloe blend than when taken with water.
That is fantastic.
It's incredible, isn't it? So we were so excited, we said, let's try vitamin E. So they took vitamin E, and they did the same test. They took it with water, then they subsequently measured again and took it with this aloe blend. They got 369% more vitamin E into the body, more bioavailability, when taken with the aloe blend. Well, that got everybody so excited that the whole aloe industry began to talk about how aloe is a carrier and it will take the nutrients into the body, and it seems to have the ability to alert the cellular communication. So you got cell-to-cell communication. We went back to what Dr. Davis said. Aloe seems to know the zip code where in the body to deliver those products.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's just the first part of my interview with Scott McKnight, co-founder of the International Aloe Science Council, and we have just gotten started. In our next session, we're going to talk about the other benefits of this amazing product, aloe vera, that doctors and researchers around the world have found, as well as the benefits of the antioxidants and the phytonutrients and the 12 superfruits that are in our Alive Again world-class drink to protect the heart, and so many more benefits. So until we see you next time, explore the information on our website, where you will learn how you can experience your own personal renaissance, both in health and in opportunity, by sharing these fantastic products with others. So until next time, this is Sharon Hughes, Director of Marketing for Renaissance Team LLC. Thank you for spending this time with us. We look forward to our next time with you.